indledning.
Ja, jeg har lovet Markus Kerber, lige at læse det, hvad han lige har givet mig skriftligt. Så jeg har ikke haft noget med det at gøre, men jeg prøver nu på at læse op for jer. Kære venner, det er en stor ære at deltage i deres konference, som vedrører et grundlæggende emne for vores kære verdensdel. Samtidig er det en meget stor glæde at tilbringe nogle timer i et land, deres charmerende Danmark, som engang var et primært sted for mine lidenskaber. Ja, de har forstået det rigtigt. Danmark har passioneret mig på grund af sin hyggelige karakter. Det er på den måde, at jeg selv er blevet til en hyggelig tysker. Deraf kan man se et smukt eksempel på den kæmpe store forandring, som vores kære Europa giver mulighed for, nemlig gennem udveksling af idéer og varer at skabe nye genrer og mere åbne mennesker. De har hørt rigtigt. Det er både en lidenskabelig fortaler for Europa og en nådesløs kritiker af EU-kommissionen og systemet i Bruxelles, som taler til dem. Om et øjeblik vil jeg fremlægge for dem de juridiske grunde til vores indsigelse mod Lisbon-traktaten. Men først og fremmest ligger det mig på sinde at bede dem lytte til min beskedne bøn. Danmark bør blive i den europæiske union. Og hvad mere er, Danmark bør påtage sig mere ansvar. Grunden hertil er, at Danmark jo på den ene side repræsenterer den typiske størrelse af de lande, som Europa består af, og på den anden side står for den civilcourage, som vi har så hårdt brug for, hvis vi skal redde den ædle idé om et forenet Europa i hele dens mangfoldighed. Så meget Kerbers indledning, og så får han ordet. Værsgo. Betyder.
Vi skal måske lige sige indledningsvis, at Markus Kerber repræsenterer den gruppe, som man kalder Speedman-gruppen, tror jeg nok. Og det er en gruppe bestående af flere folk, professor Speedman, professor Stark-Batty og Grev Stauffenberg, og så er der Markus Kerber, som er den, der fører sagen for forbundsforfatningsdomstol. Det er vist de fire, er det ikke rigtigt? Ja, værsgo.
Thank you again for inviting me here. I'm awfully sorry not to speak to you in Danish. I hope you will forgive. That's why I asked Karl Otto Meyer to... That's better now? Yes. Yeah? Yes. To address a few words in Danish. But I am one of these typical Germans who come frequently to Denmark, but who have never taken the opportunity to learn. To turn the language, to learn the language. Better now? Yeah? I will try to give you a short introduction into the recourse, legal recourse we have made on behalf of Professor Speetman, Graf Stauffenberg, Joachim Stabat and myself in the Constitutional Court in Germany. Let me tell you a few things about the Constitutional Court in Germany, about a few things about our group. Professor Speetman is a former sealer of Thyssen, which is one of the biggest industrial corporations in Germany. Graf Stauffenberg is the son of the fake Hitler assassin Count Stauffenberg, and Joachim Stabat is the president of a liberal think tank which is called Aktionsgemeinschaft Soziale Marktwirtschaft. We found that the Lisbon Treaty deserved a critical comment from a group which is authentically European-minded, rather liberal-minded, free enterprise-minded, rather than leaving the criticism addressed against the European Union in general and against the Lisbon Treaty to the far left wing, which is called in German Die Linke, led by people like Lafontaine and Gysi, or to the right wing of the Christian Democratic Party, represented by a chap like Mr. Gauweiler. Because both arguments put forward by these two groups were considered by us silly. The leftists said that the European Union, through the Lisbon Treaty, was preparing some sort of social discount and prepared an aggressive war, which of course it does not. And Mr. Gauweiler is extremely sensitive as to the unity, the integrity of German sovereignty. We don't see any danger to that. What is our complaint and what is the role of the Constitutional Court of Germany? The Constitutional Court of Germany is the institutional answer to a historic mishappening in Germany. The mishappening in Germany took place in 1933 when Adolf Hitler came legally into power and abolished the constitution legally. So everything which happened later on to legal devastations, transforming Germany in some sort of totalitarian prison, was made legally. And the founding fathers of the German constitution in 1949 said that they would expect from history the necessity of grounding the German Republic, the Second German Republic, on certain principles which cannot be abolished, amongst which are human rights, fundamental rights, and apart from that, the democratic principle, that is to say, the principle that the people legitimates by its vote power, and that power can only be legitimated by the people's vote. The second principle is the principle of partition of power, that there is no regime where the left hand prepares the law for the government. Government cannot prepare, should not prepare laws. There should be a minimum of partition of powers, checks and balances between justice, the system of justice, between the legislative powers and the executive powers, that's to say the government. We hold almost self-evident that these two principles, the democratic principle and the principle of partition of powers, is violated by the Lisbon Treaty. And I would like to give you a few introductory remarks to the way the Bundesverfassungsgericht, the German Constitutional Court, from 1993 onwards tried to appreciate the process of European integration. If ever there is something you do not understand, please don't hesitate to interrupt me. This is more a dialogue than a lecture, a professorial lecture. The Constitutional Court in 1993, when the Maastricht Treaty was under examination, said something revolutionary. The democratic principle is not only a fundamental principle of the German Constitution, but it is a subjective right of every citizen. That is to say, if an international treaty, like the Maastricht Treaty, absorbs German sovereignty, if Germany transfers sovereignty to an international body, NATO or the European Union, then we have to make sure that there remains something, not only a nutshell, but a substance of a decision-making process being democratic within the parliamentary assembly, which is the German Bundestag. Otherwise, general elections become almost null and void. They remain formally elections, but the people has no longer decided on anything. And that is a great revolutionary progress in the jurisdiction of the German Constitutional Court, because it made democracy a subjective right, a defensive right. So if the process of European integration transfers more and more power to international instances, and in particular to the European Union, then it has to be examined whether the Bundestag can control that process and whether sufficient powers, substantial powers, remain with the Bundestag, because only the Bundestag is actually elected by the German people.